People keep asking, what's happening with Southern poverty law? And first, the name matters. It's the Southern Poverty Law Center, usually shortened to SPLC. Using the full name is important if you're checking court records, IRS filings, or official statements. At a basic level, SPLC is a nonprofit civil rights organization founded in 1971. It became influential through two kinds of work: civil rights litigation and tracking extremist groups through reports and its well-known hate group map. Because those labels can affect reputations, funding, and platform access, SPLC has outsized political influence, and that means constant scrutiny. Even before any recent drama, SPLC has been controversial for years. One long-running issue is its hate group designations. SPLC says it labels groups that attack entire classes of people. Critics argue the standards are inconsistent and sometimes blur the line between hateful conduct and hardline political beliefs. Since media and tech platforms often rely on these labels, disputes over them are high stakes. Another background issue is internal turmoil. In the late 2010s, SPLC faced serious allegations about workplace culture, followed by leadership shakeups and governance reforms. Regardless of where you land politically, that period damaged the organization's credibility. There's also a history of legal disputes and settlements tied to SPLC's characterizations of individuals and groups. Even without court losses, repeated retractions and settlements increased reputational risk. Add to that a massive endowment, hundreds of millions of dollars, and critics have long questioned fundraising practices and spending priorities. That's the baseline context. Now about the claims circulating for 2025 and 2026. The documents describe two dramatic developments: an FBI decision to sever ties with SPLC in late 2025 and a federal fraud indictment in April 2026. These are extraordinary claims, and it's important to be precise about what's verified versus what's alleged. According to the documents, the Justice Department alleges that SPLC defrauded donors by raising money to fight extremism while secretly paying informants connected to extremist groups, allegedly disguising those payments through fictitious entities and bank accounts. SPLC denies wrongdoing and says those payments were confidential intelligence gathering that helped prevent violence. If an indictment like this were real, it would be an existential-level crisis for a nonprofit. Federal fraud charges trigger board-level emergencies, massive legal costs, donor pullback, and partners freezing relationships. Even winning the case wouldn't erase the damage. Legally, the core dispute would come down to intent and disclosure. Paying sources isn't automatically illegal. Fraud hinges on what donors were promised, what was disclosed, whether material facts were hidden, and whether records were falsified. That distinction matters. The FBI severing ties claim, if accurate, would amplify polarization. Supporters would likely see political retaliation. Critics would see confirmation that SPLC can't be trusted. Either way, it would raise pressure on journalists, academics, and platforms that rely on SPLC's work. Here's the key point. Claims this specific should be easy to verify. A real federal indictment would show up as a DOJ press release, a PACER docket, an indictment PDF with a case number, and statements from a U.S. Attorney's office. SPLC would issue formal responses to donors and the public. Major independent news outlets would cover it with documents attached. So the most accurate summary is this: SPLC remains influential and deeply controversial because of its labeling power, past internal scandals, and political backlash. The alleged 2025 and 2026 developments, if confirmed, would represent a major escalation into criminal litigation with huge consequences. Until primary source records are confirmed, those claims should be treated as unverified, not assumed facts.